It's Tuesday, October 11th, 2033, and the Sacramento Athletics have won the American League West Division with a record of 92-70, the best record we've had in the series, the first division title. It's sweet to see the best Pythagorean record. This is the best team we have fielded in the 10 years that we've done the sim. In terms of the rest of Major League Baseball, we were the second best team in the American League, which earned us a bye in the playoffs. The Astros will face the White Sox, who are the best. We will face the Tampa Bay Rays, who are 91-71, 88-74. So we're even. They have a very good offense, middling pitching staff, so kind of the opposite of us. Chase DeLauder won Wild Card Series MVP. He had one very good season for us before we traded him to Seattle. Or no, he only played 44 games for us, got a prove-it deal with Seattle, sucked. Went to the Mets and hit the cover off the ball and was traded to Tampa Bay. They still have Junior Caminero. Kevin Barnett is one of their new guys at shortstop. They have Tyler Locklear, who was with the Mariners for a long time, Alan Cerda. Shane Baz still in Tampa. Phil Fortney, their number one starter, with the nickname of Max Myers there. Jaden Iheanacho. Kumar Rocker is in the bullpen. That's fun. Ben Joyce, Cody Hewer, Randy Vasquez at age 34. And Josh Hansen, the former Sacramento Athletic, claimed on waivers, had a bad season, but he's made the playoff roster. So that's who we're facing in the first round. What did we do at the end of the year? So Chris Mullin actually finishes the season as our most valuable pitcher, nearly 200 innings of just kind of average ball, and we're happy to see that. Matt Brash was very unlucky, I would say, a 2.66 FIP, double the F WAR than the R WAR. Still finished with 41 saves and 10 wins across 74 and a third innings pitched. One of the best closers in Major League Baseball, with the second most saves behind the league-leading White Sox Clay Pinn's 52. Connor Griffin also third in stolen bases, had a 30-30 season. He's a 20% above league average hitter with stellar defense, and he can steal a couple bags. That's a valuable player. Michael Harris the second, he's going to be a Hall of Famer. He led the American League in batting average despite being wrecked for like the past 2 or 3 years. His best season of his career in his first year away from Atlanta. Prince Villot for the Dodgers had a very good season. They finished with 104 wins, the best team in baseball. Colt Keith was ridiculous, 182 OPS plus, a career year for him, a 5-time MVP gets a career year, 61 homers, 168 RBI. That's insane in his first year away from Detroit, and what Detroit got in return was a 21-year-old prospect who really, realistically, is much too, he's just not far enough along. This guy who's nothing, and Luis Soto, nothing. So, and Joe Warner, who could maybe pitch in the bullpen for the Tigers. None of those guys really have a major league future except for the prospect who might come along. And to trade a guy like Colt Keith, my goodness. So the Dodgers continue to fleece teams. But for the rest of our team, Brash, Kirby was an average starter, and that's a good thing because Frank Alcacer tore his rotator cuff and is out for probably until August of next season, which is a shame because he was our best pitcher. Only ends up pitching 28 games, all starts, 3.41 ERA. Definitely slumped towards the second half of the year. Had a rough month of August. September wasn't looking great, but still a huge, huge loss for us. And then with Schemes and Chaebon Kim, those are 4 talented pitchers that we've lost to injury this season. Josh Range had a setback, and he's going to be out for all of next season, which means he will have missed 2032, 33, and 34 with 2 partially torn UCLs. A shame for a guy who was looking good. Jaden Baptiste, secretly the best reliever in baseball, 65 innings, 1.80 ERA. He just kind of did it, man. Every time he went out there, a very good reliever. Bryce Miller, 3.98 ERA. We got a number of average starters. Led the league in quality save percentage, over 200 innings. 200 innings for him for the third time in his career. 2 years with Seattle, first year with us. Darius Vines bumped out of the starting rotation, but still accepted his role and pitched well, 3.62 ERA. Dylan Walters had some starts down the stretch, was fine, 4.73 ERA. Jamie Maynard, very good out of the pen. We had a lockdown pen this year with the top guys that we had with Baptiste, Maynard, and Brash. That's what can get you through a postseason when you have guys like that. An effective swingman was Maynard. He was kind of the Andrew Miller for us. Chase Hampton had a good season. Woo Suk Go was hurt, but came back, 2.40 ERA. That's good enough for me. Juan Alarid is a lefty specialist. He was up for a majority of the season, but just didn't pitch much because he's pitching against lefties. And then Chris Welch got a cup of coffee. Number 82 prospect in baseball, 6 2/3 innings, 2.70 ERA at the age of 23. And is he on the playoff roster? He is. I don't know about that, but who are we leaving off? Soriano, who could be good against lefties. Yeah, we definitely need another lefty in the pen, so I'm going to take him off and put Soriano on, even though Soriano hasn't had a lot of major league experience. Soriano, a 20th round pick, pitched 6 innings in the big leagues, was okay in AAA, but I just think these ratings against lefties, we have to have a guy like him at the back of the pen. He might not even pitch in the postseason, but he's a valuable weapon to have. And then on the lineup side, haven't gone through it yet. Talked about Connor Griffin. Grady Emerson bounced back. Good defensively, enough so that, a near 4-WAR season because of a slightly above league average bat and good defense. Sean Galloway, steady throughout the year. Good defense as well in left field and some in right field. 75 outfield arm. 30% above league average with the bat, thereabouts. Take that any day of the week. Max Clark played the whole season. Will probably win a Gold Glove. At least I would hope so. 27 steals for him. 12 homers, which is a career high. Career high in RBI with 43. So the best hitting season for Max Clark. Counting numbers wise because he's been hurt so many times. But last season, definitely the best year of his career. Ismail Ayala ended the season on a cold streak. Was average in September and then kind of carried into a bad October. 114 OPS plus, average starter at first. Tim McFarland ended the season hot. He just loves these hot and cold spells, ups and downs. Just an average starter at catcher. Abeladejo finished the season well with the bat. We know his story. Very good with the glove. LaValle finished the season strong as well. Good September from him. Counting on him in the postseason to do some more with this potential. Like, he should be a better player than that. Jeremy Rodriguez, again, just bad at third. And then Edgar Quiro didn't do anything for us. But whatever, it's a backup catcher. Luis Tapia got 6 games, 310 OPS plus. Just because he, hit almost everything. But he was hitting so well in Double-A last season, hitting so well in Double-A this season. We called him up to Triple-A. Now in the majors, his ratings have gone up. I think that he is possibly a legit piece for this team moving forward, as Dan Sant just kind of stinks. Chris Sinclair, not what you'd hope in 247 plate appearances, but whatever. And Luis Arroyo came up for a bit just because Cervantes was so bad. Arroyo was hitting well in AAA. I need a righty utility infielder for the playoffs, and that's who we have. Dan Sant, negative .7 WAR. Braylon Morrell didn't get another shot up. Cervantes is down in AAA. And then Wagner as well. Just struggled at the big league level. We tried to get production out of the righties we had, and we just couldn't find it. Jesus Moncayo was fine in AAA as well. So that's the playoff roster, and we're about set to go here. Sacramento, loving baseball, loving our team. I want to say that this actually has come down a lot. It used to be $180 million projected payroll 2 seasons from now. Um, Anything else I want to talk about before we get into it? All right, I'm going to sim these games up until the point where there's a deciding game, and then we'll watch as a family. 6-5 to Tampa. 1-3 loss. So, up 2-1 after the homestand. And I guess an off day and we're still at home. But a 6-5 win. Joe Little actually had a combined no-hitter, and Bryce Miller threw a no-hitter earlier in the season. We've had a lot of them. But Little gets tagged in this first game. Luckily, the offense is there to bail him out. In the ninth against Rocker, it seems. Or in the bottom of the eighth was the last run we scored. And then Brash closes it down. For a large portion of that game, though, they were leading. First 5 runs, we were 5-2. Okay. 1-3 loss. Miller pitches okay. Walters closes it out, but the Rays don't allow an earned run. Arroyo 2 hits, McFarland 1, Clark 2, and then the 10-3 walloping. Chris Mullen pitched that. Maynard to close. Galloway 3 hits. Emerson 2 hits for RBI. And then that was us the whole way through. Boz gets tagged. So an off day, and then one more game, and we're on to the CS. Tampa. And a 10-9 win. So was that? Yeah, 2 runs in the ninth for each team. The A's pull through with the walk-off to win the division series with a run-scoring single off of Kumar Rocker. 2 run-scoring singles by Rodriguez and Emerson. Look at this roller coaster ride here with the winning percentage. Kirby and Brash. So the former Mariners trying to be double agents and spoil it. But Soriano and Walters close it down. Soriano getting run in the playoffs, man. Who would have guessed? 20th round draft pick. And Galloway, rightfully, I think, wins the Division Series MVP. An OPS of 1,500 for him and 4 hits in the closeout game. So now we're going to face Chicago in the CS. I'm glad it's not Houston. We've seen too much of them. But I don't think we've done well against Chicago this season. Brock Wilken, Series MVP for them. 2.9 F4. Chris Welch wins the Best Pitcher Award in the PCL. Anybody else? But there's our second playoff series win of the sim. This is the farthest we've gotten, the American League Championship Series against the Chicago White Sox. So who would have guessed the A's and the White Sox, 2 of the worst teams in the American League in 2024, facing off in the 2023 ALCS 10 years later. Who do the White Sox have? They are a middling offense, a very good pitching staff, so we are both alike in that regard. Brock Wilken, 38 bombs from first base. Colson Montgomery still around. Ken Jones, I remember being a good player. Sean Wicker, they're young, but Yankiel Fernandez is an older guy. They just traded for him at the deadline. He was not having a good year, but just turned it on the south side. Anthony Gutierrez, and I remember we did give them Daverson Gutierrez for that one pitcher, Langdon. And Belize must be hurt. No, he's just on their bench. He only played in 14 games this year. He was hurt. So he's hurt for most of the season. Okay. Triantos on the team. Nate Tyler. And then the pitching staff, Danny Murphy. That's a good season from him. Noah Schultz, another good season. So they're arguably much more talented than we are, but we have, kind of squeezed the last bit of talent off of the guys we have. The dude, Joey Estes, 8-0 season, one of the best seasons, if not the best of his career, signing with the White Sox, so it's a revenge tour for him. Definitely, the best season of his career. Is he an all-star? Yeah, he was. Joey Estes. And then Joe Boyle, another former Athletic. He's just bounced around the league. Okay. So we'll go to an elimination game and see if we can make the World Series. 5-3 win in Game 1. Joe Little, 7 innings pitched, 1 run ball. Galloway, Sinclair. 1-3 loss. Check it in a minute. And an 8-6 win. So 2-1 in Chicago. I don't know why these are all home games in Chicago. That's annoying. But I guess we got the benefit of the doubt, winning on a walk-off. So the loss 1-3. Miller led up all three, and we just couldn't get offense going. And then in the 8-6, Mullen and Brash has just been roughed up in the playoffs. But St. Clair got it going, along with Galloway and Arroyo. So an off day, and then staying in the south side against Lupe Aceves, who's a Cuban international generated free agent. 2-1 lead. We make it 3-1, winning in 13 innings. 2 runs in the top of the 13th by Grady Emerson. A 2-run shot against Jose Suarez, another former Athletic. At age 35, he had a bad half season for us, and gets the 13th. Starting pitching has not been great, but the offense has picked up the slack. Galloway just mashing in these playoffs, and we're 1 win away from the World Series. I want to go to it. We've gone this far. Lose 4-6. Forearm strain for Kirby. He's out 5 weeks. That's not good. Can I put somebody back on the roster? Can I bring up Welch? Okay, we'll bring Welch in. And if we lose this, we watch Game 7, but we win. We are in the World Series, a 2-0 win. Whew, Bryce Miller. 7 innings. And we're in the World Series. I can't believe it. I've had so much good luck, and we beat our I haven't even pieced it together. The old sim was against the White Sox. I don't think anybody on the team is the same, obviously. I had Colson Montgomery and Noah Schultz. I can't believe they've stuck around. But we beat a lot of former Athletics to get here, and we are now in the World Series. Who won MVP? Even Kirby's out. So we lose 3 starting pitchers in this process. Alcacer, Skeens, and Kirby. Sean Galloway named Series MVP once again. So having, the type of postseason where legends are made. And we'll move to the World Series and sim to another elimination game. It's working thus far. 92-70, man. Going to the World Series against the Dodgers. We've already discussed who they are. And they're pretty disgusting. They won the World Series last season. They beat the Diamondbacks in 5 games. Who have some good players as well. Where is playoff history? Yeah, 4-3 win over the Astros last season. Okay, let's get down to it. They're going to start who first? Yamamoto. Oh, man. So, game 1, we lose 2-3. Sim these first 3. We lose 2-0. Game 3, need a win. 5-4. Okay, so 1-2 after 3. Very low scoring so far. Brash again gets roughed up. And Colt Keith buries us 0-2. Bryce Miller has a very good game. But, Bobby Miller has a very good game. And then Joe Little pitches as well as he can. He just walks these guys in big games. The combined no hitter he had, he walked 8 guys in 5 innings, got pulled, and we won 7-1. Because he walked a runner in. 1-2. They're gonna save. Five to 14 L at the hand of the Dodgers. Man, Maynard had to start a game with the injuries we've had. So down 3-1. Last shot here in Los Angeles. Yamamoto gets the start. We got Mullen We get our boys Emerson, Clark, Griffin, Galloway, Ayala, Sinclair, Arroyo, McFarland, Albaladejo, and a murderer's row of players for the Dodgers. Let me turn this volume down. This may be the last game we see of the sim, which, I mean, the second game I think I've played. Certainly not the baby that the White Sox series was. We watched a lot of them. So the Dodgers and the A's, Sacramento facing off against Los Angeles in a 3-1 hole in the 2033 World Series. First hit is a liner up the middle from Grady Emerson, and we're going to try and steal second on Lorenzo. Emerson's going to back off. Clark takes a ball, and then a late swing and a miss on a full count. 3-1 now. Back up the middle again. Second hit of the game. This time it's Connor Griffin. So we got our two most high-profile first-round draft picks on. Sean Galloway coming up to the plate. A late addition, but a postseason hero. This one gets down for a base hit. Emerson going around third. And I think he's going to score just barely. Paez off target with the throw. RBI single for Sean Galloway, continuing to mash in the playoffs. Ayala pops up with 2 on, 1 out. Playable and caught. 1-1 Sinclair, 2 men on. Chance to really get it going here. Back to the wall, caught by Coffin. Coffin. Cowser in pursuit. We got a guy in center field named Coffin. I just want to go till runners are in scoring position, and it's already happening. Nacho Alvarez Jr. I love that guy's name. He was on the Braves. So Colt Keith against Mullen. So we're going to miss. Mullen sits him down. No outs. Man on second and third. Paez comes up. Dinger. 3-1. Alright. Well, let's go to the 6th. 10-4. What'd we do? Oh my God. 5 in the third, 3 in the 5th. Mullen's still in there. Emerson with 4 hits leading off. Top of the lineup, destroying Dodger pitching. So this game's probably over. We'll go to the 9th. Yep, okay. So 3-2. Heading into game 6. Grady Emerson, one of the best games I've seen in the playoffs. Emerson and Connor Griffin. Alright, so game 6, after an 11-4 win, we need to win these next 2 games. Bobby Miller against Joe Little, the reigning Cy Young winner. I'm going to settle these to Goddard. Max Clark in scoring position. Connor Griffin up to bat. Softly grounded to second and out. Below to first. Galloway can't get down. LA with a man on second already. It's Cowser. 1-2 count. To second to first. 2 outs, man on third. Full count. Little walks Paez. 2-2 to Lorenzo, strikes him out. No score after 1. Nobody in scoring position in the top of the second. Nobody in the bottom. Nobody in top 3. Nobody in bottom 3. And then finally top 4, we get Galloway at second with Ayala stepping up. 2-2 count. Man on second. Ayala pops it up. Inning over. Still scoreless. 3-2 lead for the Dodgers in the 2033 World Series. Colt Keith out, but Paez gets to second, 1 out. 1-2 to Lorenzo. Little struck him out the last time we saw the catcher, who was formerly in Toronto. And now Velo, the NL batting champion, sets down a bunt. Or actually, it was a slow roller. I took my eyes off it for a second. Thought it was a bunt. Inning over. Nobody in scoring position in the top of the 5th. Nobody in the bottom. And now, top of the 6th. Runners on second and third. It's Clark and Emerson with Connor Griffin stepping up to bat against Bobby Miller. 0-1. Griffin lines out to second. Galloway, can he keep his heroics going? I don't think that's going to score a runner. Nope, nobody moves. 2 outs. Still 2 men on. Ayala hitless. Can't get it through, and we threaten but do not score. Check the bottom of the 6th. Nobody. Top 7, nobody. Bottom 7. 2 on, nobody out. Walters comes in. 1-2 to Brian Rocchio. He sends one to center field. Nobody can move up. They stay at first and second. 1 out. Full count to the former Athletic Bobby Hunter, and he strikes out. The former Dodger Walters, who was traded for Bobby Hunter, strikes him out in the World Series. Coulter Coffin. Wild pitch escapes McFarland. Runners on second and third, 2 outs, scoreless. Walters, another wild pitch is going to score a runner. We cannot lose the World Series that way. 2-0. Coffin sends it into play. He's out, but the runner scores on the wild pitch pass ball situation. 0-1, Rodriguez has to make a play here. 3-2 count. Right-handed pitcher, you're a lefty. Let's make a play. One 0 to Emerson. Deep to the track, catchable. Coffin's got it. 2 outs in the top of the 8th in the deciding game of the World Series. 2-2, Max Clark strikes out. We move to the 8th. Bottom of the 8th, I should say. Cowser against Daniel Soriano getting playtime here. 1 out. 2-0 the count to the presumptive NL MVP Colt Keith against Nacho Alvarez Jr. With Nacho Alvarez Jr. at second. Keith gets it through. Alvarez going to score. No, he stopped at third. Runners at the corners with 1 out. 1-1 count. Baptiste has come in. And this is fly to right field, but far enough that Alvarez Jr. can tag. Connor Griffin can't get him out from that far. Full count to Lorenzo. He walks. 2 men on, 2 out. Velo. Tapper to short. Albaladejo. No, it's Emerson has it. And the inning is over. The A's need to score to keep their season alive. Connor Griffin, the representative of this resurgence, strikes out on 3 pitches. Sean Galloway, 2-time series MVP over the past 2 series, 2-2 count, strikes out. Down to their last out, it's Ismael Ayala, 3rd round pick in 2027, one of the young kids. Full count. Strikes out looking, and the Los Angeles Dodgers have beaten the Sacramento Athletics to win the 2033 World Series. 2 in a row for the Dodgers, and the A's get far in 10 seasons but cannot capture a title, losing in 6 in the World Series. So unlike the White Sox sim, we do not end up champions. Let's go into a little bit. We're done here. So let's look at what the record book is now. I'm going to move forward 10 years. But over 10 years that we were at the helm, starting in 2024, we finally capped with the best season, 92-70. This is the worst run I've had, really, in and out of the park sim. Normally I'm a consistent 100-game winner, division titles, World Series. We made the playoffs in every year of the White Sox sim. But we just couldn't get it done in this. I mean, it's hard. With the budget we had, that was a hard thing to do. $120 million thereabouts the whole time. And then we finally sacrificed a little bit of dev budget and draft budget and free agent signing budget for some money to trade for players when we get to the World Series. We add a few pitchers, veterans, 5 guys at the age of 35, but I think some crucial injuries down the stretch really hurt us. Losing 2 starting pitchers, count Skeens and Kirby as one guy, because we wouldn't have traded for Kirby if Skeens hadn't gotten hurt. But Alcacer was a huge loss. Starting guys like Maynard in the playoffs is tough. And that's how it goes. So do we have anybody in the record books right now? I do want to see that. Actually, positional starters, we'll go through that next time. But anybody in the leaderboards right now? The A's are sold. It's hard to expect it, especially with the guys that we have not sticking around for a long time just because we can't afford them. Look at Giambi. All these guys from like 1910, and then Jason Giambi and sometimes Mark McGwire because he was taking steroids. We don't have single season guys in any of this. No, it's hard to end up on the leaderboards. Sean Galloway, though, actually, the most doubles in athletics history. How about that? Tied, actually, with Al Simmons. But that's a 107-year-old record that Galloway nearly broke this season. That's a fun record that we have. Triples, nobody close, obviously. So we'll monitor Galloway as we move in the 10-year sim and see what he can do for us if he sticks around. I don't think we had any serious homer guys for a long time. No. Bob Johnson. The most nondescript name I've ever heard. So is it really just Galloway for doubles? Esteury Ruiz, but that's the year before we got here. And then Ricky, man, 130 in 1982. How about that? Hit by pitch is one that can happen sometimes. Brent Rooker had 16 in the first season, but he's not one of our guys. And then Dan Sant struck out the most of any Oakland, Sacramento, Philly, Kansas City Athletic. Bolte number 2, Montgomery number 3, Bolte number 4. Henry Bolte in Philadelphia right now. Rooker on this list, Bolte. So obviously the strikeouts, the era that baseball has come into, you're going to have guys that reach that list. And then 2 guys crack the top 10, Denzel Clark and Lawrence Butler, who are still kicking in Major League Baseball. Butler kind of done, and Clark almost. And then pitching, I wouldn't expect we'd have anybody. I'll go quick. Definitely nobody on the career leaderboards. TJ Brock and should be Matt Brash back-to-back on the saves leaderboard. Anybody on here passing Grant Balfour? No. Or Trinan? Maldonado, 75, so ranked 7th in saves. Funderburk on games pitched, not in a career. Newcomb there as well. J.P. Sears, but that was a year before we got here. 2032 Joe Little for strikeouts. The best, Vita Blue, 300 Ks in 1971 when everybody else is dead ball. Mason Miller, highest K per 9. Lodolo up there as well. Joe Little, Garindo, McCullers, Mullen, Alcacer. So the only real-life guys, Minaya and Montas. Everybody else is our guys. Garindo, number 4 in career K per 9. Garindo on this leaderboard. Miller as well. And then our war, I don't think we have anybody on there. But that's what the record books look like right now. I'm going to simulate 10 years to 2043. And I'm going to shortlist our 40-man roster. Create a new one. Can I not do that? 2033 A's. Put everybody on the 40-man on that. And then I have all the prospects that I want to keep track of. I have them all shortlisted as well, and so we'll check those back. We can check the decision history one more time and see right now who's our best acquisition and who's not. I think this will keep if we go through. Bobby Hunter was the best trade we made, and then the Manuel Pena trade second. Bobby Hunter the best overall, though. Chris Mullen probably going to end up being the best single trade we make, depending on Ji-Hoo Kim's career, which I don't foresee taking off. Juan Moreira, maybe. And then the Max Clark deal for Lawrence Butler, who is struggling. And this one actually was good, too, with Wickham and Gonzalez and Brandon Barrera. Miguel Vargas had a good late career, though, with Boston. Won a World Series, largely under his own power. This is the worst trade by far. Chase Davis. Man, did we miss on him. 13 wins above replacement in Toronto. Made a career there. Couldn't do it with us. And we didn't get anything for him. Emerson Hancock had a good little stint in Colorado, but I think he is a fragile player now, into his mid-30s. And then the Torkelson deal, well, the Martin deal was really what it was. Geloff did well with the Brewers afterwards, which kind of bit us at the end of this trade. And then this Soderstrom's trade, but really the only real bugaboo was Chase Davis. But we balanced it out with Little, Garindo, and Griffin, and then Pena, Mullen, Clark, trading Hunter when we did, Alcacer. We made a better team. But that's where it stands right now. We eventually reacquired Darius Vines. We reacquired Mitch Spence. Reacquired Zach Geloff. It was actually the second time that we had Zach Geloff that we lost all that war. But that's where it sits right now. We'll see him in 10 years and see what happens. My predictions, we'll go by potential. Griffin flames out. Emerson sticks around. Galloway becomes our best player. Little flames out. Ayala, no. Miller's gone after a year. Brash is gone. Chris Sinclair, I think, will carve out a role. I think Tapia will, too. And then beyond that, maybe LaValle. But yeah, and the farm system's pretty dry. So I'm going to quit. I'm going to quit my job, and we're going to simulate. This still keeps, right? Yeah. Okay. All right, I'll be back for the 10-year sim. Thanks for watching.